Today's video is sponsored by Patwari Kitchen and Snow Zone Car Wash. What have been the biggest challenges in creating content so far?
I just wanted to bring it back from the side of just being a name in scrap to actually being like a name in the industry then.
You took a risky investment. You could just pull out early, stack up again and go for a safer investment.
Don't work like that with social media though. I'm not gambling with money, am I? I'm gambling with opinions, time and people. Maybe it's not something I specifically said, but it was the way I definitely portrayed it. Definitely that, and I can see why people would have got wound up by it.
So you know the fire that happened at your yard, what was going through your mind when you first saw the fire?
Fucking hell, I hope that's not my yard.
Welcome everyone, welcome back to another episode of MK Creations Growth and Innovation Podcast. Today I'm joined by the funniest scrap king guy you're going to find out there, proper businessman, sound guy, and for some reason the mainstream media keeps trying to make him look bad. I don't know why, because he's sound. It's Harry Taroni.
How are we?
Good.
That's one of the nicest intros I've ever had.
So let's get into it from your childhood. What was home life like for you growing up?
Well, I don't know. It's just I imagine it is the same as every other kid. Really, I think I did go to private school. So when I was about 10, I was sent to boarding school in Derby, and that was it really. Just obviously spent a lot of time there growing up until I was 18. Never went home. I had long periods away from home as a child because of that. Obviously met some amazing people through it, but yeah, just other than that, I was just a normal home life really.
But do you think boarding school was a bit of a punishment? Because that's what it gets marketed as.
Yeah, now I loved it. I did. Definitely loved it. Obviously, you know, hopefully I can afford to send my kids there one day, which is what I'd like to do.
So what were your dreams and ambitions as a kid?
I never had any ambitions or dreams apart from I wanted to be in the army.
Yeah.
I had a massive obsession with going to Sandhurst, becoming an officer for the army. Up until I was 14, 15, I used to do all the CCF, you know.
I don't know what that is.
It's like a cadet force for kids, basically. We used to run around playing soldiers and stuff like that. So it was all through Repton. We CCF, RAF, DOV. I did all these external activities in hopes of making me more susceptible to getting into Sandhurst, which is like it's the best officer training school in the world down in London. That's what I wanted to do. And then I just decided one day that it weren't for me. I think as I got older, I started wanting things, not material things, but like just different. I started realising what I was into and what I wasn't into. It just dawned on me that I wanted to follow a different path.
You didn't want to get shot at for a living?
Yeah, man. I thought, no chance am I getting shot at.
I don't blame you, bro. I don't blame you. But it's good. It's still in your heart, because I mean, we'll get to it. Like with your charity work and that you always put some type of actual army thing back in, like an army-based charity or navy-based armed services, which is great. But
I mean, any of the services are amazing. Let's be honest. You gotta give it to them. I'm not.
Bro, I said it before, I say it again, fuck the police. Me and them don't
count.
They don't count.
There's grey areas where,
they don't count for me, bro. They don't count for me.
But you know what, everyone's had situations where, especially myself, like even a few weeks ago, everybody always moans that like like you said earlier, where's your tax money go? You don't see many firemen on the road, but then when we had a fire down the yard the other week, nothing made me happier than when I saw them red fire engines come through the gates, and that's worth every penny. That feeling is worth every penny. Then knowing that they're there, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you never had that with police, bro. They don't do shit, bro.
When I went to private school, didn't I? The only thing we had with police was like escorts us around the school days.
Bro. All I remember is them beating up my friends, bro. The pieces of shit.
Yeah, I mean, I never had that. I never had.
You're winning, bro. I was losing.
Yeah, I just never. That weren't the way we did it. Obviously, where I went to school, it was just normal practice, just to be in a little village community where you didn't really, I never saw police until I left school. Until I went down the yard.
Fair enough. So let's get into the whole HS2 thing, and you know, after you guys were forced to move because of some government law where he had to give up the premises, right?
Yeah.
Which I understand the law, because of that you got motorways, roads, and you can actually get anything done. But at the same time, it's a bit unfair. But have they actually paid you in full yet?
No. So we've got roughly about £4 million outstanding. So without without having money behind us to buy, set up, crack on with the new site, we'd be finished. And we've got like a 70-year-old company. So for that to just go underground and be finished because of something that we can't control, I don't think it's fair. I've actually been really happy we've moved. I mean, the yard's took off. Business is really good at the minute. No complaints. We've got a new, better yard, more modern. Everything's better going forward. But for someone like my dad, who's always had his business, which is very successful, at a certain site, being forced to move by somebody else, I can see why he was upset about it. We were all upset about it. But if they paid us today, we would have a different view on HS2. But they are. We agree. You can't stop progress. So if the country needs more improved train lines, fair enough. But it's not.
They don't need them. They need to fix the ones.
Need them or not?
Shit. I used to work on the rail, bro. Like, I'm telling you straight, they're selling you a dream, bro.
Yeah.
Selling you a dream. It's gonna be another shithole.
But you can't stop the country though improving itself, whether it's needed or not. In the government side, it's improvement. So if you're a government trying to improve yourself, why don't, and that's like by taking stuff off your people, why would you not just pay them? At the end of the day, the bloke that's making the decisions, it's not coming out of his pocket. He's got a blank checkbook from the government, so just write the check out that you owe us.
True.
Do you know what I mean? Put it this way, he's not gonna have to stay in the weekend because he's paid us our compensation money.
That's true.
It's just one of them. But it's just difficult because you're dealing with lots of different people in a massive company where the communication is awful. So you're speaking to one consultant one week and then another one. They're just swapping around. It's very hard work.
But do you think it's the case because they don't want to part with the money to keep doing this and that? Because that's what it feels like. And sounds like.
I think that they've overspent on the budget. I believe that a lot of people are going to be shocked at what they've really spent and what they spent the money on. I think there's been a lot of backhanders. I think someone's having a nice drink out of it. And I think they're covering it up.
Me though, bro. I wish it was me, bro. I'm seeing the numbers and I'm thinking to myself, bro, I need to get a cut somehow.
Yeah.
But why can't they just cut you like a deal saying that, you know what, all the scrap from the whole project, London to Scotland and back, it goes through your company?
I think by law we were meant to be offered that regardless. I think in terms of the HS2 policy, like if your business could like help it, I might be wrong, might not. As a scrapyard, especially the Birmingham stages, we should have been offered the scrap before like your massive EMR and Sims and things. Like we should have had that, but we're doing our own things. You know what I mean? Like we're not relying on them, we're not waiting on them, so we're just cracking on. And if we haven't got it, then that's that.
No, I get that. That's it. But at the same time, you should pressure them into giving you something that'll be better long term. Because
we just want our money, man. We're lucky we've set the new site up.
Try and get equity of HS2 over it, and now 2%.
Yeah,
that 2% will make a lot of money,
Well, nobody knows if it's going to work or not, do they?
No, say 2% of the gross income revenue, but that's it. So you don't have no liability, bro.
Yeah.
Because you're not owning nothing. You get so if it flops, you're winning.
True.
Because they're not trying to pay you nothing, bro. I tell you straight.
we've had
similar rob you.
We have had payments off them, but nothing of any value really. For what we've spent, I think our solicitors and consultant fees are over £200,000 or £300,000. But then everything that we spend due to HS2, they are liable for. So the longer they take to pay us, the more bills we'll concur with solicitors and things, which they will have to pay. So financially, it'd be better for them to pay us as soon as possible, so they don't have to pay as much.
That's true, bro.
For example, the mortgage on our new site. The longer that takes them to pay us, the more we have to pay the mortgage.
Yeah.
But every month when that money goes out of our account, they have to pay that back. So if it takes them a year to pay us and we have to pay 12 more months mortgage, if you pay, like, you know what I mean? Like if they
paid it today,
we wouldn't have to do it anymore. Like there's no. But that's another reason why no one's rushing to pay you because it ain't their money. They're bothered. They're just taking it as it comes.
True.
I mean, they've all got the nice salaries, so that's it. They're fussed.
Alright, so how have you managed moving locations and still trading? Because even in your videos, when you started YouTube, something we're getting to later, your yard wasn't fully completed while you were still trading.
It
Obviously, you
took
had to-
roughly 30, 40 grand a week in concrete and labour. Obviously buying the new site, operating at the new site. We had it a year before we started work on it. And then once we started work on it, then it just, we had the lads come in, stop the concrete, and just building throughout. And then once we got to a stage where we could operate some sort, well, also as well, we had a date to move out by, so we had to do certain things by date. Luckily, it's where like myself and my brother worked very well together. I went to the new site and sort of opened it up and started trading from there, while Richard was in control of finishing at the old site, clearing everything up, making sure that it was like moved correctly and things. So it worked well between us. We both managed to keep the control on both sites for about 3 or 4 months, I think, and slowly integrated Aston Church Road business into Cheston Road, and the transition was quite smooth, really, but very stressful, but quite smooth.
So how's that played on your mental health then, and your family? So bro, it must have been a bad period with bare arguments and bare politics and people.
We're definitely a close family. There wasn't many arguments between ourselves. I felt very sorry for my dad. I felt, him specifically, just really sorry for, because he's worked hard all of his life for what he's got, and you've got some bloke with a pen thinking that he's just signing paperwork, finishing you, that's it, and putting stress on. The stress. I'm 25, man. I can deal with stress. Don't bother me. Do you know what I mean? But my dad, he's an older chap. Stressful business all his life. He's in the years now where any extra stress is not fair on him. Do you know what I mean? Especially when it could be helped. So yeah, he struggled through it, but like he was stressed through it, and I think it's definitely going to be a bit massive. Well, it's a massive relief now we're up and operating and being successful at the new site. He's already feeling like relieved. It'd be nice if they paid us fully. It'd be extra relieved. It'd be over. Do you know what I mean? But no, Richard. The whole thing was stressful. Lots of money worries because we're obviously building a new site, buying a new site, operating. Cash flow is tight when you're knocking out 30, 40, 50 grand a week in bills like concrete and stuff. And you got to buy your metal at the same time. Like if we don't buy the metal, we ain't going to turn it over to make any money. It's hard work, man.
The next question was, did HS2 become new customers? But from what you're saying, it sounds like a no, innit?
No. Mate, you know what? Someone's telling me that we had a little job out of them in the Birmingham area like a couple of years ago or something, but nothing of any significance. Nothing to say that, you know what? No, we had 1,000 ton of nice steel out of some factory they demolished. Nothing. I think they got a scrapyard from like Derby. So like, where's the sense in that?
But there's not, because look now, in every type of construction, demolition and rail, they always focus on, the pollution and try and lower the carbon footprint. So since they're going to one that's around the corner, literally less than 2 miles, Derby's about 20 miles, bro.
But you're not so the person at HS2 making that decision isn't looking at bothered about the carbon footprint. They've got
meant to, it's part of his job.
Yeah, but then also part of his job is getting as much money in. And what's more important, the carbon footprint or the bottom line, or what money they get back on the scrap? It's the bottom line, man, every time. If you're going to get £10 a tonne extra from a company that's collecting it from Derby, they're going to go with that one every time. Because at the end of the day, the money's not going into their pocket. So they ain't bothered, man. So all they're doing is... probably, somewhere down the line, someone's having a drink, but it'll be going onto a spreadsheet, and if that bottom box is higher than that box, they'll go with that one. It's as simple as that.
I get that, but bro, like they're really pressured to take the loss just so it lowers the carbon. I'm basically like, even
they
now,
are,
like
mate,
everyone's mad over it. They're always trying to get the deliveries from as close as possible. And bro, like where I'm working now, they try and get one lorry, right, to get 5-6 people's stuff in, if it can fit everyone's stuff, just so it lowers it.
They might be trying to advertise that they're doing it, but until they do it, you know what I mean? Until they actually do it, they're not. They just do what they want.
So let's go on to YouTube anyway. What made you decide to go into YouTube and build a channel?
Well, before I start that, I've got to say 2 things. Massive thanks to Will and Sahaj, which is the lad that is also in our team. What's made me start YouTube? Nothing really, like nothing specific. There's other people in similar industries that I watched and followed for a little bit, and I thought, you know, at the end of the day, if they can do it, why can't I? And then I just thought, there's nothing to lose, is there, at the end of the day? No, for me, anyway, like our trade. Okay, it doesn't pick off, get any views, whatever. We just stop. Okay, you might look like a bit of a tit on the fucking YouTube for a bit, but I'm used to looking like a tit anyway in places, you know what I mean? Like, it's water for ducks back to me, but...
We'll get into the Daily Mail one later. We're going to do that.
It's just, is what it is. I just thought it would work, or I thought it was going to be a new way of marketing. A business that people know a lot about, but not, I wouldn't say the truth, but like, I think it's just nice to be shown by somebody that does actually, well, I think I know what I'm doing, do you know what I mean? Like, there's loads of stuff out there on scrap and things on YouTube, but I just thought I'd bring something different to the table, and I'd like to say it's working.
It is, bro. Your views are a lot better than mine, a lot better than most people, but if you're winning, you get me. Like, I might have to ask you for tips.
Yeah, I'm not doing the YouTube though. You know, the vanity of it's nice. The filming of it's nice. It's fun. You know, I've met you through it, for example. I've met Will. Met good people through it already, and we've only been doing it like 6 weeks. But for me, it was trying to get the brand of the like HB Taroni metals not out there in terms of like, you know, we're going to be the next, you know, the next brand household name. Not interested, but like, it's just, I want people to, if they think of scrap or think of scrap in Birmingham, I want it to be impossible for them to think of that without Taroni.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know we're not going to be the biggest YouTube channel / scrapyard overnight. I get all that. But, you know, 5 years time, I want it to be impossible for somebody to say the name scrap or say scrap metal without somebody going Taroni. You know, and that can only bring business to us.
But you kind of already got that in the local area of Brum, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the main parts of Brum, from
like
Smalley down to Astor, Lozelle, Handsworth.
Big family, man. There's loads of us. You know, there's loads of us. There's definitely, well, there's hundreds of us around Birmingham, so it's definitely going to be a name that people know. But I just wanted to bring it back from the side of just being a name in scrap to actually being like a name in the industry. Then I want, you know what I mean. I want to be
a household name.
I mean, not a household name, but a scrap house name. If you're into scrap, in the UK, like 5 years time, if you ain't heard of me, then I'll be upset. Not doing business with me, fair enough, because obviously, you know, not everyone can do it, but just to know. And like, I want companies in the trade, like demolition, whatever, they've got a job in Birmingham, right, look up a scrapyard. I want it to be like, well, let's use Taronis because they're out there. And I haven't seen anyone else do it yet.
True. But you know what? So one of the things you need to focus on is your SEO. So, like, you know, what people get on there when you Google search, then search online via websites, because a lot of people are going to search you, ain't really going to search you through YouTube, or it's either LinkedIn or just the actual internet.
Yeah. So it's one thing we're actually lacking on at the moment. It's like a really, really good website with all the information and make it easy for people to book skips and things. But you know, we're only a small family company at the end of the day. Yeah. There's only so much you can actually do by yourself. I think we're growing to the stage now where we need to get help on this, which is why I've asked like Will to come in for me on the marketing side of YouTube. Sahaj, the lad that I'm working with at the moment, and like we're all working together now, and it seems to be going in one direction. That's up, which is good.
What have been the biggest challenges in creating content so far?
Just thinking of it. Just thinking of something to actually talk about. You can see from this video that I can chat shit all day long, but actually making it making it entertaining for people that have never ever seen a scrapyard before, it's difficult. You don't want to just talk. You don't want to waffle on for an hour and like get 20% views on, or 20 views on the video, because you know you're doing something wrong, ain't you? It's difficult, man. It's very difficult. How these other YouTubers do it for a job every day, coming up with like content of just anything is very impressive. Now I've actually done 6 or 7 videos myself.
So how did you overcome them? Like the hardest thing is generating quality content, like you said. So what's your tips on how to overcome it?
Know what you're talking about, or at least look like you know what you're talking about. As daft as it sounds, honestly, it does, because stuff is so familiar to me at work that it's not interesting at all. And I don't even look at things in like for what it is. It's, to me, that's just the process or whatever, and I just do it. Do you know what I mean? Or the lads do it in the yard, and we just use that for an end goal of making more money. But no, it's actually, if you break it down, make it a little bit more simple, it's quite interesting. And I always think of stuff to film, which is great. There's loads of stuff to film, but then it's actually figuring out how to film it. That's another challenge. It's just.
But what you mean in terms of the logistics for the people watching, when you try and, like, all the health and safety factors that you take in and all the risk assessments you do before you actually shoot any videos to make sure everyone's safe?
There's stuff like that, but really it's only like me, my brother and Will. There's not that much health and safety really, as long as we've got the high vis and stuff like that, which I've learned. Yeah. You know, it's just difficult, man. It's just difficult to think of something and then go from like an idea to content, and then waiting like the week for Will to chop it up and make it into the episode that everyone's happy with, and then obviously send that out to YouTube. There's a lot goes into it really, more than like I think people think. I have comments now saying you're going to put more than one video a week out. Imagine that, Will.
Bro, I know how you feel. My thing is so inconsistent because I think to myself, boys, fucking hell, what do I fall into now?
Yeah, there's that, definitely that. Because what we're doing one video a week, and we're 9 videos in now, and like, it's not immediately this weekend coming episode that we struggle on. But like in say 2 or 3 months time, when there's been like 12 other episodes, like where does it stop and where does it go from there? It's just, you know, I didn't think that far ahead when I decided to do it. I just sort of did it, and now I'm in it, and it's like I've actually got people commenting like, where's the next one and things, and I didn't expect stuff like that.
But I don't think it's so sick how you got a genuine fan base, and you know, people are reaching out. Like I reached out for a podcast. Honestly, I reached out through your brother because I thought it would make more sense. It's a random person on Instagram. It's like, business-wise, it makes more sense because at that point you had like 1.5 ton of data cable in it.
Yeah.
So I thought, bro, you do it regardless.
Bring me that cabling, mate. I'll go on every episode.
Nah, if I could get more, see, I just have to unreel it, bro. So now, because imagine this: if it's less than 60 meters left on the drum, they'll get rid of it. So if it's 59.8 meters, scrap. They can't do nothing with it.
Mad. There's a lot of dough there, really.
But imagine that it's like 20, 30 reels.
Don't tell them too much though, because they'll be wanting it for themselves.
Nah, because bro, it's a case of who's got the waste carrier license and all. So, and it's only on Neil and Brennan. So then they go through you. You guys put the money into their account. It goes to the principal contractor, ISG. They use it to give out, you know, the free school meals that have been going around while this lockdown thing was. So it's just to fund that, not the charitable stuff that they do.
It's good, man. It's good.
Yeah. It'd be better if I could get a cut too, but you know what? It's peak right now. So where do you see yourself with your YouTube in 5 years? Like,
what do you think, Will? Vegas. before 5 years, Vegas.
We'll be living there.
Yeah. Where do I think? I don't know. I'd like more business out of it. Not in terms of media business, if I can build business relationships in scrap metal and get contracts or meet new people that can either buy metal off me for more money or things like that, that's where I see it going. I want to know, I want to have contacts in the industry, because I'm never ever going to be, you never know, might do, but likelihood is I'm never going to earn a living off YouTube. It's always going to be scraps, that's what comes first. You know, if I can build relationships with people that I've met through the social media marketing side of it, YouTube, you know what I mean, anything like that, that's where I see it going.
Okay, so it's like another form of networking. That
Almost, mate, yeah, it's just...
That eventually is going to pay for itself, because you guys got monetized really quick, and you know, like you've been hitting every target, and you must be turning over something from it.
I've earned about 150 quid in YouTube money. Literally $190 it said on my phone last night. So like I'm debating in my head if it's worth monetising the videos, because is it because I'm watching my own video and getting wound up by the adverts? So imagine like somebody that isn't.
But then hear this, right? If you can turn a liability into an asset from a point of business, why not? Because everyone that goes on YouTube understands they get all this great quality content from across the world at the minimum price of watching 1 or 2 ads at the start.
True.
Do you know what I mean? And like if they don't like it, they can get your YouTube Premium, like where, you know, they have a monthly subscription.
Yeah. But all that's new to me. It's like it's all new. I mean, it's you know, it's something I'm just sort of going with, and just if I get more, less, whatever, man. That's just is what it is.
But you know, you're saying that like I'm 15 grand in my podcast, like I'm saying 10 for the equipment, 5 for the season. I ain't seen nothing yet. Obviously, I'm gonna keep going because it's fun. But right now, it's feeling like a wonder, bro.
Yeah. No,
I bro, a car like you guys have, bro. Car got 6 ray and everything. Yeah, I'm jumping on taxis, bro.
That's down to doing like 60 hours a week work and that. Do you know what I mean? Not saying that you don't, but I think I think people look at my Instagram and or know me in other ways and just think that it's handed to me, or that it's just very easily gotten. But no, it's a lot of work goes into it. Mm-hmm. You know, especially now. Maybe before, my dad would have held my hand a lot more in business and guided me through it in work and restricted what I had access to in terms of responsibility. And that I think the way the company's growing, a lot of it is falling on Richard's shoulders and mine. And it's nice to take it in a different direction now rather than it all relying on my dad. So there's a lot going on all the time, you see. There's a lot. I like to say it's like spinning plates. That's why before we started the podcast, you're talking about the transport side of it. Yeah. There's horses for courses as well. Like Richard does that, and that's just his thing. It's not the nicest job. It's not the easiest job, but he does it very well, better than I could. Do you know what I mean? So it's just. But then I'm a lot more competent on the office side of the work and keeping like tabs on the customers and the sales side of the metals. We work very well together, and if it keeps going like it is, there's nothing will stop us.
No, but I can see you graph, bro. Your eyes look like you ain't seen sleep in years, bro. You know, it's clear to say that you guys do put in
a lot of early mornings, man. My alarm goes off at 5.
Same here, bro.
And like, you know, you're at work for like 6, half 6, and then it's 100 mile an hour then from half 6 till like half 5 at night when we're going home. And it is stressful because there's a lot of people working for us, there's a lot of customers to deal with, and it solely falls on 3 people. My dad, my brother and me. Like, they don't want to speak to anybody else, they want it to be dealt with by one of the 3 of us. So it's a lot of pressure all day long, and obviously we're built for that now, used to it. But you know, I get home on a Friday and I'm fucked, man, and I just want to sleep.
I know how you feel. Like, you know what, I'm wounded. After this, I gotta get up at 5 in the morning again. But Sunday today, Monday tomorrow, back at it.
That's it, man. That's it.
But I need this to take off. I hate construction though. So for the people starting right YouTube, what advice would you give them?
Right, if you wanted to start, I'll probably say this is the thing. I don't feel like I'm qualified to give this advice or even talk about it like this, because what, I've got 7,000 subscribers, and I don't feel like...
More than me, bro. I ain't even got 1,000 yet, bro. We haven't got the same videos.
It's just go for it, man. Like, you've done it. Okay, you're saying that you say that it might not be paying off right now, but if you keep going, why won't it? You know, that's my theory on it. Just gotta go for it, man.
I get that, but you know what? It's like you'll sit there and think to yourself, you took a risky investment. You could just pull out early, stack up again, and go for a safer investment.
Don't work like that with social media, though.
Huh?
You don't work like that with social media. It's not. You know, I'm not gambling with money. I'm gambling with opinions, time, and people. And if I don't make videos, or if I don't keep up with the facade of one a week or things like that, they'll just drop off, lose interest. Imagine you're not trying to draw money in, you're trying to draw interest in, and interest is a lot easier to lose than money.
That's what I'm trying to say, because you're building a platform where it becomes marketable, and then you get deals, and that's really the main money in it. But it's one of them, because you know what I mean. Like, look, if you work out property and then you turn into a HMO to the council standards, you get a 2-year contract with them every 2 years. It's a bit safer, you know what I mean, and you're seeing money then. Because right
this
now,
fits in with me.
for a bit.
This fits in with me though. Like, if I started to now try and do your HMO thing, like you just said, I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't have that. I wouldn't have the space in my head to allow for worrying about houses. Do you know what I mean? Like, Will comes down, and it's very, very natural what we film. It's just we walk around and do stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, Will and I get on great, so there's no like pressure there. We just do it, and it works well. If I had to then start pretending to talk about houses and stuff like that, or stuff I wasn't interested in, then it just wouldn't work, man.
Fair enough, man. At least you're doing all the stuff you love or you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And bro, because right now it sounds like you go to work and it's not actually a job.
Fucking sometimes it is, man. You know, if anybody says to you all that bollocks about if you love your job and all that, I love my job, but fucking sometimes I wish I could just walk off.
I know you feel.
Do you know what I mean? Like, anyone that says that to you is just, they're not. I think I'd like to have a realist, and like, no matter if you love your job, the real life version of it is that it's stressful, it's time consuming, it's hard.
Yeah.
Why would anybody love that, really? Do you know what I mean? I'd rather be on the beach. But it is what keeps me going in terms of, like, I am looking forward to tomorrow and seeing what happens this week at work. So, you know what I mean? It's one of them.
True. Alright, so let's go on to the Cheltenham race anyway, right? No, but look, why do you think the mainstream media, what was it, Daily Mail in it?
All of them, I think. All of them had a crack at it.
Oh, cool. Because I saw it on Daily Mail.
I think they hammered it. Daily Mail and the Sun hammered it.
But see, why did they make it seem like, look, the worst thing is you never even said anything bad. The geezer asked you to go there, you go, but I'll do you one better, right? I'll pay you for the day. So you're giving him a day rate, plus he gets to go there for free. All he's got to do is run to the bar when you guys need drinks. He's still going to enjoy it.
I get that, but looking back now, look, I couldn't have been any... it came across.
It didn't?
I mean, I think it did, and it was major. I mean, I know. And I think it's funny, don't get me wrong, I'm not bothered by it, but I look back now and it's like, well, yeah, he's fucking... I think I just... Maybe it's not something I specifically said, but it was the way I definitely portrayed it. Definitely that, and I can see why people would have got wound up by it. But the details of it are, he was paid, he had a great time, we all had a fucking laugh.
And it was his idea?
Well, you know, I asked him if he wanted to do it, and he said yes, and that's that.
Still part of his idea.
Yeah, man. But, you know, the media went with it, and to be honest with you, I was at work, and the week after, and like, the reporter turned up, and I hid, and I was like, no chance of I getting involved. And he actually hung about outside the yard for like an hour, and then came back in the office, or to the office, and said, right, basically, there's going to be a story tonight or tomorrow on Harry at the races. I'm going to basically give him his chance to tell his side of the story now, or I'm going to write the article anyway. So I was like, oh, fucking hell, go on then, I might as well chat to him. And you could tell he was trying to bait me into saying bad things, man, and get me to cough up anything bad that he could then obviously twist into the media to make it even worse than it was. Just went with it, man. I thought, you know, fuck a minute now. If it's going out, it's going out. Innit? You know what I mean? Let's have a laugh. I think I had like 1,000 DMs on Instagram over like the 2 days, and like 800 of them were like death threats, and that was nuts. And I remember my phone being. I remember my phone going off at about midnight. I woke up, looked at it. People, my mates, had started seeing the article, and then nothing, went back to bed. And then at 6 in the morning, there's a few messages. And then come at 8 in the morning when people were getting up reading the paper, my fucking phone, like somebody just turned the vibrate button on, and it just didn't stop for 2 days. Nuts. And then Sorin, the lad that was there, had phone calls from Romania saying he was on like national news in Romania, and that it blew up quite a lot. But yeah, it's one of those things.
Bro, you know what I think? Like, look, I think it's an Illuminati conspiracy. Like, I'm gonna explain why now. There's you, there's the media, and there's HS2. There's 3 points, 3 make a triangle in it. So that's the Illuminati part. But I just think, you know what? Someone at HS2 knows someone in all these media ones, and they thought, you know what? Fuck it, let's
Yeah,
get
maybe.
back.
Yeah, maybe.
But if it didn't come across like that, you know what I mean? I think your opinion of it changed because of what other people try to influence you at. Because when I typed in your name, I watched that video, I just thought to myself, bro, this is all banter.
It is banter, right?
My mates
but
do to me,
I can appreciate why people got insulted by it. And my dad had text messages of people that he hadn't spoken to for years, saying like how disgusted in me they were. My dad was laughing. I didn't care. He was just laughing. But like, it's one of the things. I mean, how long was that now? Like 2-3 years ago. And it's just like how times changed since. For me, it's just fucking one of the things. I just laugh about it now whenever it comes on my Facebook. On this day 3 years ago, and there's me and Soren like loving life, and like it just is what it is. Didn't mean any harm by it. It was just what happened, man.
No, I just think someone had a vendetta against you to make
Maybe they thought that it could be a good way of doing something, but it didn't work. I don't think.
Yeah, and like you said, that reporter, bro, he's just trying to word you into saying something, and then use it out of context with edits and everything.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think a lot of these lads need to learn manners from some shit people over there still. So you know, has this false narrative they portrayed of you negatively affected you in the long run? Obviously, you said initially you were getting a backlash, but the customers gone down or they back now?
No, I didn't care. The customers weren't bothered, man. Because at the end of the day, people know me at work for me, especially the customers. I like Romanian customers. They see me every day, so they don't actually. They obviously watch the video in the same like my friends would, and say, "Fucking hell, what are you doing, man?" Like,
yeah.
But they know it's not me as a person, so they weren't bothered. I had a few that probably moaned a bit, but like I say, it wasn't my genuine thoughts. So it was just obviously just sort of forgotten about quite quickly. Do you know what I mean? If I was going back to work arguing with them saying that they're all horrible or what, then it would have blown up. But that's not how it was. So.
Well, at least you got a chance to clear it up.
Yeah, I tried anyway, mate. I don't know how it went, but.
We'll watch you back in here, right? And then you decide if you want it in or not. I'm not no, seriously, I'm not fussed, you know.
I don't care. Put the footage in. It'd be funny.
Bro, it's like an extra couple of minutes, bro.
No, just put a snippet in. People get the gist of what we've got.
Yeah, I just gotta find it with none of their logos in it, because then they try and do you for copyright.
Oh, really?
I've had it before, so it's long. So you know the fire that happened at your yard. What was going through your mind when you first saw the fire?
Fucking hell, I hope that's not my yard. I was driving down Tybin Road with my brother in the car. For some reason, we just decided to go to work a little bit early that day.
Yeah.
And driving down the road about 5:45, and there's a little black smoke in the distance, man. So we're there, we're going, oh fucking hell, that's our way, that is. And as we get closer and closer and closer, you just know. But I'm fucking driving to work, my flip flops on. So obviously, I parked up, turned the alarms off on my phone, throwing Richard my keys, and he's ran to the gate and started opening up, because obviously by now it's not a little black plume, it's a fucking massive fire. And I had to put my boots on. Fucking rushed to put my boots on that, and then obviously I ran in like a minute behind him. But no, it was horrible, mate, because we just bought the units next door to the yard that had the other side of the wall 4 days earlier. Now, all I could see was the flames going over the wall, and licking the roof of the new unit. So all I was doing is thinking, and also as well, we bought 2 of the 6 units. So if the 2 went up, the whole 6 would have gone up, man. I was just upset because all I was thinking is we just spent like however much money on these units, and I'm watching it go up in flames. You know, the cliche.
So you're just seeing the money burn.
Not the money, man, but the hard work.
Yeah.
The fucking money's money. You know what I mean? Like they're insured. You get that back. It's one of the things. But you know, we fucking grafted that bollocks off for the last 18 months. And my dad's like obviously managed to fund it by for his investment, and it's just frustrating to see. Literally, they're insured, man. The money's it is what it is. But like all that graft for the units to go through the week before, to then all of a sudden watching it go up, it was like a bit sickening, man.
So what made you think it was a good idea to go, you know what, I'm going to jump into the crane and try and separate the stuff that ain't mashed up so we can sit turn a profit, try and lessen the fire? And
just lessen the fire, man. Scrapyards on fire, it's good at the end of the day, because you're going to get clean metal at the end of it.
Is it?
Yeah. So like, imagine a car, how much crap's in a car? Dashboard, steering wheel, seats, it's just full of shit. A car's crap. But then you set fire to it and burn all that stuff out of it. You've got a nice clean shell, an engine, some alloys, some looms. Like, it's obviously don't do it, but
You'll throw more in there, right?
yeah. But now I just thought, 'cause, you know, fires happen all the time in the scrapyard. So you if the car's on fire, instead of worrying about it, just fucking put it in the middle of the yard so nothing else can set on fire and just let it burn out. That's it.
Oh, okay.
That's what the thought process was. I just thought, right, well, I was jumping the crane. If I could move that half of the pile, then that half of the pile won't set on fire. Do you know what I mean? But it's all petrol and plastics and stuff like that. It goes up rapid.
You know, some of the people that see me the first time in this video, they're gonna think I'm very money motivated. You know, when I'm.
Who are you?
Yeah, because like half the comments will come out with is financially or business wise, isn't it?
It's interesting though, isn't it? I think people seem to overlook that. Money is what drives most people, and it's interesting.
I don't drive me, but I understand the value of it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That third-party trading item can make or break anything that you want to do, and you know what? It's so essential. I always say the value of a penny is everything and nothing at the same time. But you just gotta know when the account's when you're not. It doesn't help that the next set of questions, or the last set of questions are guys based on business anyway, isn't it? So before we get into all the business questions, let's get into it. So bro, like me, you got tattoos on you, but obviously you've invested a lot more in
Yeah. Shout out to Helen Brown from Gung Ho Tattoo. She's done absolutely everything on me. I've just finished off my leg now. But she also did my brother and my dad. Well, yeah. And obviously when you get your first tattoo, you want to go to someone that's been recommended. And she was a stuffed sig. I've got an addictive personality in terms of, you know, if I find something I like, I go for it. And that definitely started with the tattoos. I had was it St. Michael? I had that first on my arm. And that was it then. You had that one done. And then you just get another one. And then another one. And I was just, before you know it, my arm was done and I'm starting this one. And then I'm going, right, what should I do next? And that was it, just covered. My missus is telling me not to do my back though. But no, I'm definitely not doing my back.
Shout out Rudy Foy, the guy that did my hand tattoo, the tiger one.
So I'd love a hand tattoo, man. I really
now I
would
want to get
like
both
one.
my hands done, 2 full sleeves on my chest.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted in it, right? But at the same time, I can't be off sitting there for the... Bro, it's irritating. It doesn't hurt, but...
Do you know what? If anyone tells you tattoos don't hurt, they're lying.
Nah. Look, you know the way like a punch would hurt like a nasty rib shot to your lower rib? It does not hurt like that.
No,
it's more... You feel it, but it's more like someone's constantly prodding you and you just have to sit there.
I always describe it as...
It's more jarring.
I don't know whether you agree, but heat up a needle and just drag it across your skin. That's the way I describe it.
I wouldn't do that to find out, bro.
No, don't do that. But no, it's just... Yeah, just like it, man. And if anybody tells you, like, if you're looking to get your first tattoo and people are saying, oh, what does it mean to you and all that, I think all that's a load of bollocks, man. None of my tattoos mean anything to me apart from the ones on my chest, which are like... basically I decided and Helen did the art for it to recreate a stained glass window that my parents have got in a church they own as a scrapyard theme, and that's on my chest now with my house.
Your parents own the church?
They've got a little chapel on the grounds, yeah.
That's epic.
Yeah, man. So when it was dilapidated and broke, Dad renovated it, built it up. So when he replaced the window, he replaced it with a scrapyard theme stained glass window, and it's just sick, man.
Bro, you should do a video on that, bro. Imagine just seeing that.
Maybe, yeah. But the problem is though, it's content. I don't want to be too personal on it in terms of like going to the house and stuff.
Oh, that's in your house. I thought it was at the yard.
No, that's the house, and I don't want to show off on it. I don't want to just make it too familiar to people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
It's hard, man. It's a hard balance to find.
You get stalkers, you get some weird people.
It's a weird, yeah. I thought that on episode 8, like the front doors on it, and you just get that weird feeling.
Yeah, like if someone knows the neighborhood, yeah, I know what that's like, you know. Still, like, nah, I get that. Whenever, like, one of my mates does a music video by where they live, because people know they stay. Like, they'll be, oh yeah, I know where that shop is. Like, you know, whenever I see Bings in a music video, I know it's Lowe's House Road. Just off the roundabout, you get what I'm saying? So, it's headaches sometimes, isn't it? But, so how much did it cost? How much did it cost now for all these tattoos? And
fuck knows. I don't know, what's your charge? 70, 80 quid an hour, and I must have 50 hours. Must do, man, yeah.
well,
It's one of them, isn't it? But obviously that's not like in one go. That's not one day.
I
That's
know,
like,
but 50 hours of just... I had to sit for 10 and a half of this, right? And it's still not fully done because I couldn't be asked for any more. So as you can see, this part here, I don't know if you can see it with zoom in or not, right? But it's not healed properly. So I gotta get redone, there's no shading done, and it still looks epic, so shout out Rudy Foy. But nah, it's kinda done me over, because when I met him, he was up in Great Bar, right? You know, at is it Atlantis or something?
I'm not sure.
I can't remember, I gotta find it now. That tattoo shop just off Great Bar Secondary School, off of Aldridge Road, at the end of it. So now you've gone back to Manchester. Obviously, I can't fault him any because he's got better rates, everything's better, and he's from Manny originally. But bro, now to get this fixed, I got a 2-hour drive.
I'm the same with Helen, man. I don't think I've got one tattoo from a different artist, and that was when I was pissed in bloody Benidorm. Me and my mate's got a little top hat, you know, the emoji on your phone.
Yeah.
The top hat, we got that for like a joke on our ankles, and I actually text Helen on the night apologising. I feel like I'm cheating on you. She's in all of my ink, you see, apart from that one. It's literally the size of a 10-pence piece.
Yeah, it's like a barber, bro.
Yeah, man.
Like you and your barber.
Do you know what, I'm not loyal to a barber.
Huh?
I'm not loyal to a barber, man.
Why is that?
I'm busy. I ain't got time to book appointments, so I just drive past one if there's no queue, I'm in there.
Fair enough, man. I'm not 100% loyal to my barber all the time to be sick in it, so then I have to go somewhere else. But you just seen this whole lockdown, I had the haircut. My beard was like up to here, bro. I had an afro. And bro, it just wasn't good, you know. It just raw wasn't good for me. But yeah, he's gone back to Manchester now, so it's a 2-hour drive to fix his hand tattoo.
Be worth it though, it's on there forever.
Yeah, but bro, when I've done my hand, you know how swollen it's got. If I drive up there, I gotta drive back.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm gonna be driving with my knee again. I'm gonna go in the auto for that one. Right, but alright, let's get into the charity swim. Like, cause you actually try and swim the British Channel, English Channel.
Yeah. I've got a problem where I can't say no to people, so I always get asked to do like little bits of charity work and things, and I do enjoy it. But I was asked to swim the channel in a relay team in about 2 months' time. But when I got asked, it was about 18 months ago, and I said, yeah, I'll do that, mate, no problem. And then all of a sudden, then between the lockdowns and doing nothing, it's like, oh well, we're doing it in 3 months. Have you started training yet? Fucking hell, and so now I've booked in. I'm going into the cold water lakes, swimming as much as I can, and just getting used to being cold.
So is it like a process, like, you know, when a fighter goes to have a fight, they have to have medicals, they have to have checkups?
Yeah, I've had a medical, and you have to do a qualification swim, which is 2 hours in cold water. You're not allowed to get out, be touched by anyone, in terms of like nobody can hand you a drink, for example.
Yeah.
And so obviously everyone can swim. Well, you know, if you can swim in a pool, I can. I was like, yeah, it's been a piece of piss this for. But obviously, hour and a half into 11-degree water, and your body starts shaking, and you got to keep swimming. You can't stop. It's hard work.
Bro, I can't swim at all already. Yeah. As I say, bro, I'm land-bound and air-bound, bro. I can't take the water, bro. Unless there's a boat, I'm screwed. But Yeah, you know, you decided to do it for charity. Now you've done two great charities in it, but you know, with the Birmingham Children's Hospital in it, that's epic. But I've been in there so many times as a kid, like you know, from falling over a place. They're good people. I can't say nothing bad there. But you know, when you did the army one, right? I think it's good, but you know, the only gripe I have with it is the fact that you know what, the army doesn't have any loyalty. Because if you think about it, once you're done with the army, they wash their hands of you. There's not really there. Everyone I spoke to that's been in services, there's no help. The transition.
Well, that's why that could be an argument to why the charity's there, because this charity is not only for the soldiers, it's also for the families of like injured veterans.
Yeah.
So obviously, like you say, if there's no loyalty, then
it's wrong, bro. You're giving your life for something, innit?
Exactly. Right? So this charity is then going to help the people that might be affected by that.
Yeah, so that's what the charities are great. You pick two epic ones, I can't fault them. But I think what the British Army needs to do is actually show loyalty to the people that have. Because it's not. Look, if you went to fought for this country, right? Or if I did, say we both go, bro, your family's fighting too because all the roller coaster emotions, like are their kid gonna come back or anything, all that stress, all that anxiety to help with the freedom that we get. Obviously, I enjoyed the freedom I have here, but. It's like, but they need to look after the soldiers better because it's just a disgrace, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Topics like this were really not like. I've got no reason to talk about the army in a bad or a good way, really, because you know what they do for the country, in my eyes, is good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not educated enough on the subject. I just think that if you see the team captain Dan did serve in the Falklands and things. He is a veteran, so it's very close to his heart for obvious reasons. He must have obviously been through a lot when he served, seen a lot of things that we could probably only imagine. So for him to then obviously put the charity up for people to donate to, you know, I'm only a team member on this charity, really. You know, he asked me to do it. I said yes. It wasn't my idea, but for him, he's obviously very emotionally invested in it, which is fantastic.
Because you know, look, one thing about being in construction, you meet people of all walks of life. People that like baddies from the streets, people that ridiculous jail time, people that have given their limbs for this country. Like, look, one of the guys that comes 7:30 every morning, Monday to Thursday, to deliver carpet tiles. He's got a resars or something, so his fingers are falling off and everything, right? Because it was while he was serving, he got cold while his hands.
Frostbite.
Yeah, from like you know fixing the tank on the truck. So I go, okay, so what happened? Like you know when you left, because nothing, they just washed their hands of you.
I get that. Yeah, I get that. You know, there probably should be more to be done about that. But I don't think that's something that I can really have an opinion on because I don't know enough about it. Do you know what I mean?
No, I get your point. Like,
I have to listen to people that I know. Will, like Dan in our channel swim team, obviously whatever he says I'll have to take very good notes of because he's been there, done it. It's actually his life.
I get your point.
Do you know what I mean?
It's not from the horse's mouth. It's just
exactly, mate.
On the outside of the stable.
Yeah, I just think if you're serving in that, you should obviously have the best care while you're there and outside. But if that ain't the case, then something needs to change.
It does, but that's why I thought I put light on it because it's not right. You know, loyalty is a big part in my heart. Like for anything, like I don't know how you can do that. You know, to be fair.
It's one of them things, isn't it, man?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Oh yeah, your cars and your quads. So where did the love for all these good cars and quad bikes come in from?
I just love cars, man. They're definitely my thing. I just love cars.
From early years, it was like
I've always liked them. I don't really just love them. I've got an old Mustang, 1968 fastback, that I bought when I was 20, and I've just kept it. It's in my garage at the minute. I haven't driven it in like a year. Love it. It was my dream. Saved up, obviously bought it. Got finance on it. Paid it every month for 4 years. Paid it off. Now it's sat there. You know, it's paid for. Going up in value, and I bought that because at the time I couldn't afford or justify like a C63 or get insurance on it, so that was an appreciating asset. But now I bought that, I'm happy. I've bought my C63 now, which was another dream.
So what's the next car you're going for?
one day I'd like a Lambo. That's the dream, man, for me.
But you know what? How much is a C63?
Depends, man.
The starting price, like 60.
From an S1, I think it's about 80 grand.
You know you can get a Gallardo for 65 to 90.
Yeah, but you look like you're driving around in a 2003 car.
Well, I don't care. I was
No, if you like that, everyone's laughing. But if you like it, yeah, that's sick. But it's not me. It's not me.
Like, plus, because it's discontinued, eventually it'll just shoot up.
Mate, if somebody gave me like 60 grand now to buy one, I would happily drive around in it. What I'm saying is, for me, money wise, if I was given the option, I wouldn't have a Gallardo. I'd have a new model, Hurricane, something like that.
Yeah, eventually or Euro.
Yeah.
I get your point, bro. But I would still buy an Enzo if I could.
Yeah, sick.
Different
Kettle of fish are there.
Huh?
So it's a different car in it. You can't compare like an Enzo to a Gallardo.
Bro, I'm a Lamborghini guy, and I said that I don't have none, but I've always preferred it. Any Lambo, in my opinion, beats any Ferrari.
I mean, mate, I agree with that.
Yeah,
Just the brand's called on it.
Yeah, bro. Lambo's epic, man. I can't fault them in anything.
Yeah. But that's definitely a target of mine through life, is just to own one of them one day. Yeah.
This emission zone area shit down.
I'm bothered. By the time I'm driving around in my Lambo, I ain't gonna be fussed about the emission zone, man. Find me all day long.
Bro, it's like everyone's trying to break into this room, bro. You all knew the time and everything. I don't know why you're doing it now. Alright, I was also told you got into boxing. That white collar, was that just a charity thing, or was it something growing?
So I used to be quite overweight, well, very overweight. Never really paid much attention to sport growing up. Not really interested. Obviously, I like watching boxing things. I wasn't like partaking in anything like that. And then two of my like really good friends, Ryan and Niall Hatton, and their dad's a boxing coach. I was literally having a fag and a pint with them at the pub on Sunday, and I was a bit pissed, and Tim like conned me, and I still blame him to this day. But then I thank him at the same time, because he sort of persuaded me to sign up to a white collar drunk. And me being me, I was on the phone straight away on the Instagram. I'm going to do this, that, the other, and all of a sudden, like, people started talking about it, and it started gathering a bit of attention. And then I woke up the next day, you know, with my hangover. I had messages saying, "Oh, you're gonna fight H." 'Cause my brother's box, you see, right, and my dad's. The family's always been into it and things. So it's like quite. So for me to never do it and then say I'll do it, it's quite a big deal. And then I was like, shit, I'm gonna actually have to train, because if I don't, I'm gonna get beat up in front of everyone I've ever met. And luckily for me, I never had a cigarette from that point on. Like, I quit smoking. I lost 10 stone in weight, and I actually became fit. Like, I did the half marathon like last year, like an hour and a half. I lost, you know, I've never been healthier. So boxing to me, like I say, saved my life, especially like Tim, and especially Tamworth Boxing Club, just smashed it, absolutely smashed it with me. I had 6 fights, won 3, lost 3.
That's good.
It's alright, man. It's not.
Was it on points or TKO or KO?
I never got stopped. No, I never got stopped. It was always on points, but.
See, bro, don't count them, because half the time it's politics. That judge knows what to do.
Yeah, maybe.
Points,
you know, it's only amateur boxing, man, and I absolutely loved it. There was nothing more exhilarating than fighting, as daft as it sounds.
You should try Muay Thai, you know.
I ain't got time, man. See, when I moved out of my parents' house and moved away from the gym, I retired, man, basically. And it's just something I love, something I like to play at now. I still go boxing training.
There's also good local Muay Thai in Brum, you know.
Yeah, I don't live in Brum though. They're like over.
I'm sure you'd be surprised how much Muay Thai there is in the UK, you know. There's a lot. You would think it's Thailand, but there's a lot.
But I did, my first fight was like 2019, I think, and then I sold, between me and Joshua Four, we sold about 600-700 tickets. Sold out the event, raised a few thousand for charity. Did about £8,000 in ticket sales, really made the event massive. I never got any money for that either. I just did it all through another mate of mine who hosted the event through his like company. I fell in love with the sport, man. That was it. Then obviously I had my white collar, which that was, and then I went amateur. Lost my first one, won my next 2, and then I struggled with my weight a bit then, because for me I'm like now I weigh like 94 kilo. And I boxed at 81, so I'd like almost be 2 stone lighter than I am here. And I'd always be able to get down to about 86, 85. And I struggled then the last little bit. And well, long story short, I'd always then end up fighting like a bit heavier opponent. You see, like as soon as you go from 81 kilo to like 84 kilo, even if the bloke weighs the same as you, the frame of the man gets bigger and like longer arms and stuff like this. So I just found that unless I could stick at like 81, I was struggling, and that happened, and then life got me in the way, and I just retired, man.
Yeah. Alright, so let's get into the final part of this, the business questions, right? Having a business like yours, what tips do you have in regards to cash flow?
Fucking chase your money. Nobody wants to pay you.
What?
Nobody wants to pay you. And obviously, not in like a bad way, but like obviously, especially right now, the copper's never been so high, so you're spending loads and loads and loads of money on it. It's going at you. But we pay our customers every day, you see, whether you bring in like 10 ton or 10 kilos, we want to pay you the same day. So for example, if you bring me a ton of copper and it's like $6 grand a ton, your bank goes down $6 grand, and then you gotta wait like 10 days for that to come back in at 6.2. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not, but it's just keeping that flow going, and it's hard, especially when you're doing big figures, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds a week and things, and then all of a sudden you look at the bank and you're like, you know, 6 figures and that. It's nuts. 7 figures.
Bro, your accountant must have a hard time at the end of the year. The tax returns, you must go mad. You must charge your arm and a leg for it. What are your top tips when it comes to networking then?
Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it. Just say hello. Do you know what I mean? Just that's it. Just don't be afraid of like trying something new, or don't. I wouldn't say just go for it, but there's obviously you got to judge the situation, and just obviously if it suits you to do it. But just don't be afraid. You know what as well? Don't be afraid to speak to the person that you think will have nothing to offer you, because he might not, but his pal might. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And just don't be afraid to talk to people, and even if it's somebody that you don't have anything in common with, that's it. It's bridges, and crossing bridges all the time. You'll have done something good, man.
Yeah, because sometimes I think I overthink it, but then it works out, so I just carry on doing it, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I could have messaged you on Instagram, but I thought to myself, it's probably better if I go through Richard, because...
Yeah, man, that's it.
You know what I mean?
Obviously, this is my first podcast, and I've really enjoyed it. So like,
pressure's off now, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know,
ain't been good to you.
If somebody said like they'd like me on theirs, I'd be well game for it, man. I think it's a good format, and you know, the more I've done this one with you, I think it'd be cool to do my own. So like even though you've not told me to do it, do you know what I mean? That's the networking for you. You've given me an idea now. Now, hopefully, no one is going to say like I'm copying Mo, for example. But like, no, that's how it works, isn't it? You know, you broaden your horizons by meeting new people.
So what's your top tips on managing staff?
Top tips on managing staff. I don't fucking. It's hard, man. Staff's hard. I find that with some of them, the more you pay them, the less they like you. It's nuts. Honestly.
I don't want a couple.
It's like I don't know how people. I don't know, man. Staff's hard, man. You look after them, you pay them, you give them everything they want. We make them work hard, but obviously that's what you're here for. You know what I mean? And you got this cogs to turn in the business, and if everyone ain't pulling in the right direction, things will stop. But you've just got to look after them, and then just hope that they come in the next day. Honestly, it's difficult, man. But especially in our trade, because we don't. Nobody's coming to be a labourer in a scrapyard and wants like, you know, a salary and stuff like this. They come in and they're gone the next week.
But you know, I think it's a hard thing. It's like you try and make them understand that you're looking after them, because a lot of people would, the money I'm on now, I think is shit. My mom keeps telling me it's good money. Well, it ain't good money because like there's that person there, he's on double. That one's there on triple. That one's 1.5. That one's less, but I'm not bothered by him. I need to go look on this side. So I don't know, man. Like, I think getting it across to people's heads, because I only realized what I was getting was good when my other mates were telling me what they were getting, and I was like, oh, okay, so I'm not in the worst position, but I still don't feel it's good.
That's it. Fuck knows, like, you're just gonna have people talking that they're talking about what they earn and what it's hard, man. It's hard. Also, you gotta remember as well, you're paid for your worth at the end of the day. The way I look at it, like we get lads come in and they can graft the fucking bollocks off, man, and they get looked after. Do you know what I mean? We get lads come in and you can just tell they're not there to help. They're just there to get the wages on a Friday. So obviously, you know what I mean. It's one of them. It's hard, man. Staff is hard. It's definitely the hardest part of our trade, especially with the sort of people that we attract.
Okay, so when do you decide it's time to hire people then?
Just there isn't a time. It's just fucking hell. You know what I mean? Like when it becomes too busy, when you're struggling to keep on top of your work, and an extra person will cover it. Like for example, we've just employed 2 new forklift drivers, purely because we're that busy at the minute, and the metal's coming in that fast. The bins are getting filled up so quickly that the lads can't keep on top of tipping the bins and keeping the space clean. So that holds the business up. So now we've employed 2 new forklift drivers all day, can just get these bins and tip them in the right areas. But that frees up my lads to weigh customers in faster. So like, it's just one of them. It's just as it goes on.
But you know the thing is, you don't want to go, oh, it's busy this week, I'm going to hire someone tomorrow. Because it might be not as busy. Do you know what I mean?
We're on the verge now about buying another lorry.
Yeah.
And my dad says like, no, I know we're busy right now, but we might not be in 6 months, do you know what I mean? Or as busy or whatever. And obviously you can't go and do like 120 grand on a wagon and then like pay a bloke every day for 6 months to then fuck him off, because that's not fair on anyone. I know obviously you got a wagon sat there, so it's hard, man. That's business for you. You got to make that decision, and if you make the decision then to push for a new lorry and a new person to drive it, you're then gonna have to push for the work to keep everybody busy. Do you know what I mean? It's like once you get on that, it's like a hamster wheel, innit? Once you get off, you need to keep it spinning, man. It's like the YouTube. Now I've started it, that fucking ball's turning, and it's like you got to keep it going. Otherwise, that 12-year-old kid from London's giving me DM messages saying, "When's the next video?"
Oh, bro, at least you actually got genuine fans that people see and try and reach out.
It's nice, man. That's nice. I appreciate it.
Because a lot of people, bro, their thing is just like, dead views. There's nothing from you. People are what you think and nothing. Like even mine. A lot of people will comment, like they'll message me, or if they got my number, they'll bell me and say, "Nah, bro, I don't like what you said here. No, I like this. So you should do this. You should do that." You know what I mean? So I need to start getting.
There's always opinions, mate. I've dealt with opinions all my life, and especially with my character and that. I've got a good strong friendship group, a lot of strong characters. So everyone's always got an opinion, good or bad, and I think that's just life, innit?
I'm really happy. I need to get a second phone because it's fucking jarring sometimes. The thing is, I'm glad that people take my stuff in. Then people are actually watching this, regardless of what they think.
I think you'll be surprised at what you like, for example, my YouTube, right? I look at it and I think, that's not doing as well as I might like. But then I'll go to, last night I went to the pub, for example, and I got some random bloke coming up to me going, "Oh yeah, your videos are sick," and then oh shit, actually it is getting out there, and people that you don't expect are watching it, especially if they come up with a positive vibe, then it's minting it.
Okay, so the next one is, when is it time to get rid of someone?
Obviously, there ain't a time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think there is a time, but I think it can happen naturally. I think people can start not playing the game with you, and then you start clashing or something at work. Like if somebody's not doing the job correctly, you can't just fuck them off because they ain't doing the job correctly for one day. But then you start noticing the habits are changing to be obviously detrimental to you, and then you obviously tell them to do the job better, and then they moan, and then they argue, and then obviously I think it's just like, man, I think it's just fair we call it a day. It just happens, man. Or unless someone's consistently fucking late or don't turn up.
But what if the reason's proper though? Like 10 minutes a day, but they'll stay 10 minutes later. Or is it that because you close, there's no work, but you might have to tidy up the yard? Like it'll make.
That's it, mate. That's it. You gotta just like.
Change his hours.
No, we got set hours, man. It's like just constant throughout the year. But like you just deal with it. Like it's hard. There's no set scenario where this works for that reason. It's just as it naturally progresses. Whether it's like a long build up thing for them to make you want to fire them, or it's like an instant mistake that you've got to let them go for.
What would be one of those instant mistakes?
Stealing. you know, out the scrap and that. We've had that before.
But how much could one person steal that's actually worth any money?
Not like physical items, but like they might have a customer come in that's paying them to add more weight to a ticket, and that was the case down the old yard a couple of times. Touch wood, we're on it now, but it's a scrap trade, mate. You're dealing with very, very like on the ball game people all day long from good walks of life and bad. So if there's an opportunity there, they're going to go for it.
Yeah, no. What's next for you then?
Next for me personally, or the business?
A bit of both, because like you're so entangled in it.
Yeah, I suppose.
Majority of your life.
Personally, what's next for me? I'll get married next year.
Congrats.
So that's obviously going to be a massive step. And then it's just going to be let's just evolve the company, man. Let's get it, because it's been going for 70 years and it's worked. It's been successful. Let's make it that. Let's set the grounds now for the next 70, and let's see how big we can take it.
Okay, so for all the people watching, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you and stay up to date with the latest from you?
Follow my Instagram. It's just at Harry Taroni. And obviously we've got a business WhatsApp number you can send messages to, or just give the office an email, sales@taroni.co.uk. But that's it, man. Just get at me. I'm not afraid to talk to anyone, so just don't feel like you can't DM me or something. Fuck me, if you DM me something weird that I ain't replying to you, you're getting straight deleted.
I've had some, these fake accounts that come in your request box, and well, I get some weird group chats, and then I don't clock the group chat, and I'll open it, I'll see that 10, 20 people message this fake account, and I think to myself, the fuck is wrong with them?
I get some strange DMs, man. I do get some strange DMs. Some of them are funny. Some of them, it is what it is. But
you want to share before we go with that.
I had a kid ask me to lend him £100 earlier. That was today. Just some people are just strange, aren't they?
Bro, they're brave,
Brave, yeah.
That one's brave.
But it just is what it is.
No worries, man. Thanks for coming on.
No, I really enjoyed it, man. Really enjoyed it.
Okay, so I'll see you guys on the next one, bro. I might have to change this to Ghetto Cast or something, bro. Because it sounds better, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that.